Okay, it's the Lukewarm Takes podcast. We got a little bit of a two-parter today. We're starting off. My good friend, Micah Cothran, is coming on to talk a little across the Spider-Verse with us, and then after that, Kyle Davis coming back on. Not going, draft stuff. Not even going sports. No gimmicks. No first take segments. We're just talking. We're just catching up. So that's what we've got planned. It's all next on Lukewarm Takes. We had a little issue the first time we did this where me and Kyle we went to record and none of it recorded because
Oh my
he wasn't
gosh.
on the right thing. But anyways,
Yikes.
we got my boy Micah in here. We're talking a little Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. If you haven't seen it yet and you want a spoiler-free review, this is the time to click the next timestamp and go to the next segment. Because this is not going to be spoiler free. You already told me that you had some thoughts, not even some thoughts, a little beefs.
Oh yeah.
So I'll let you do your thing real quick. Go ahead and get into what you thought.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks Ian for having me on the podcast today. It's an honor to be on Lukewarm
course.
Takes. I love it. I got a hot take though. I got a hot take today. Yeah, spicy hot take for Spider-Man. And I'm going to just start off and say, as a Spider-Man fan,
Okay.
I was pretty disappointed in some of the decisions in this movie. I start off right there. Just laying it on the field. Just playing all my cards.
Wow.
I was a little disappointed. But first off, I just want to hear like character by character, like what'd you think? So like Miles, what'd you think of Miles this movie?
I'll just go ahead and say that I thought this whole thing was awesome, but I also had no expectations going into it.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was a lot of fun. I didn't know a lot about his character. I didn't play the Miles Morales PS5 game.
Oh,
not a big comic book guy.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a lot of fun. And I found myself when I was in the bathroom after I saw the movie in the theater, I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, everybody's been telling me how my story is supposed to go. And I looked at myself in the eyes and I said, I'm going to do my own thing.
I'm going to do my own thing. Oh, yeah.
I loved it.
Good. Okay. I thought Miles was pretty good. Earbuds came out. I thought Miles was pretty good overall. I enjoy where they're taking his character in these movies. So I thought that was pretty good.
I think in the last one they still had a lot of Spider-Man-esque stuff in it, like a lot of Peter Parker, Aunt May, and stuff. The only Peter Parker who had any screen time is kind of a goob in this movie.
Right.
So
right.
I mean,
exactly.
If you came wanting to watch that, then I could see how maybe you were disappointed.
Right. So I liked Miles. I thought Gwen was okay. I didn't know like she was going to be a big focus of this movie because she really wasn't in the last one.
A lot of time, yeah.
Yeah, let's just get this out of the way. Animation, fantastic. Like visually, beautiful.
It's really pretty.
Mm-hmm. Like you can take any scene and mount it on your wall. Like that's just how good it looks. So, like hats off to the animation. That was awesome. But Gwen was interesting and okay. I kind of liked her dynamic with Miles. But here's where like I start getting a little angry.
Okay.
Miguel. Spider-Man 2099.
Right.
He is a completely different character than he is in the comics and TV shows. He's a completely different person.
I did notice that, yeah. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know enough on the front end to really justify me having a take about it.
Right. And like what confused me the most of like all the decisions they went with in this movie, one of them for Miguel confused me. Why is he turning into a vampire?
I don't know.
He grabs the vulture and almost bites his neck. And I was like, wait a minute. There's no Spider-Man vampire. Like, who is this guy?
I was so lost.
That was weird. That was a weird decision. I didn't like that. His character arc was interesting, to say the least. Like, I was like, okay, they got to have a reason for him being kind of a jerk and like stressed out. Like that makes sense. They got to have that reason. But still, I was like, this is a totally different character than comics or anything.
Yeah, I just Googled it. It said that there was never a point in the Spider-Man 2099 comics where he was a vampire.
Exactly. Exactly. That right there. And I don't know if they're trying to explain like why he has claws that he can grab on stuff with, but that's just his suit. Like that's not a vampire thing. He just has a cool suit. So I don't know. That didn't make much sense. And I'm trying to think of all the other main characters to go over. So there's Miles, Gwen.
I thought Oscar Isaac was cool though as Spider-Man 2099.
Oh yeah, like all the performances all around were amazing. Like regardless of the characters, everyone like gave an awesome performance, awesome animation, awesome music.
The Lego Spider-Man.
Oh, I got so hyped. I stood up in the theater and clapped for that one. And I probably shouldn't have because no one else did, but I thought it was awesome.
Did you go earlier, like opening night or something?
I went Saturday, so I actually didn't go opening night. I would have liked to, but I was out of town, so I couldn't.
Did people clap like at any point in your theater?
Mm-hmm. I was legitimately the only one clapping for every moment.
I didn't know if people clapped when they saw like Toby and Andrew on the screen, which was kind of weird too.
Oh yeah.
What about Donald Glover just being in it as a regular human?
Oh my gosh, I don't know what that like.
That was
I don't know what they're doing. Yeah, no, it was hilarious, and also this like when I think about it, I'm like, this is a Sony movie. This isn't an MCU movie.
No.
So is this Sony being like, hey, MCU, put him in the next, big thing? I don't know what that was.
It's ultimately their decision, I think.
Right. But it left some of the people that I saw it with, it left them leaving the theater being like, what was that about? And I was like, I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I think they're just like doing a wink and a nod or something.
So I didn't know anything about the movie going into it. Like I had read nothing. I didn't watch anything. I didn't read anything. Well, the ending, the ending as a cliffhanger came completely out of nowhere to me. I checked my phone and I was like, we're over 2 hours in and the last fight hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah, true.
And then it just ended. That came out of nowhere for me. Did you know that going into it, that it was going to be a two-parter?
So, kinda, because when they first announced, like after Into the Spider-Verse came out and it was a big success and everyone loved it, they then announced they're going to make more movies. And this movie was originally called Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. Originally.
Oh.
Even in like some of the marketing like a year ago, it said Part 1. So that kind of keyed me into being like, okay, maybe this is a two-parter. But then they dropped the Part 1. So I guess it was a case like Infinity War and Endgame where they just expected you to know, or they wanted to shock the audience. I don't know. But I kind of knew. Yeah. Oh, I was too.
I was shocked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a pretty interesting ending, but I guess we could start with some of the story beats and then get all the way to the ending. But canon events. What did you think about that?
Well, here's the thing too. I was seeing that like on my For You page and on my reels and stuff before I saw the movie. Yeah. And I was like, what is this going on? Like they were like, oh, when the freshmen come to school and I'm watching them try to pull a senior, but I can't interfere because it's a canon event. Like,
right.
What are they talking about? And then I got to the movie. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it was everywhere. It was all over my TikTok page. Like I couldn't escape it. I had to like get off TikTok for a day.
I don't know. Like it's just kind of plot convenience, I guess.
Yeah.
But it was cool. I thought it was a cool plot point that he was the original anomaly that messed all of this stuff up in the first place.
Oh yeah. No, that was awesome. Like
because I started thinking about it when he goes to the HQ and it's all Peter Parker and like a few other characters. I'm like, shouldn't there be another Miles Morales?
Yeah, exactly.
There wasn't.
Right. No, yeah, that blew my mind. I even saw a TikTok reel, whatever, the next day of a like sad edit of the Peter Parker from Miles's universe, and it made me feel really sad because I knew that like in this movie they said that Peter Parker wasn't even supposed to die.
Yeah, he
Like
had to die.
Miles, right? Yeah, he only which they said like he only had to die because Miles got bit. So
which
like,
is kind of crazy.
Yeah, yeah. They did kind of set that up though. Like I went back and watched the first movie, and the spider actually glitches as it's like about to bite Miles.
It does.
Mm-hmm. So that blew my mind. I was like, they must have planned this since the beginning, which is pretty awesome.
Which makes sense because it's really good.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
yeah. The Peter Parker in the first one dies out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And he was so
in the movie
cool.
Like 10 minutes, I feel like.
Yeah, right. But he was so cool. Like I was like, this is like the best Spider-Man. Like he got everything right. He had his own restaurant. He had his own like Christmas album. He was married. I'm like, this guy's the best. And then he died after like 5 minutes of screen time.
Yeah, this movie really made me want to go buy a PlayStation and play the games.
Oh yeah, especially the second one. Whew, I'm so hyped for that. I'm gonna have to get a PS5 just for that one.
Did you play the Miles Morales one?
I still gotta go back and play that one.
I do too. I haven't played it.
I heard it was good though. I want to try it, but I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, so canon events. That's probably my biggest problem with the movie, by far. I was so frustrated because I'm like, if I think about it, I'm like, wait a minute. All these, Spider-Man comics, and the movies and the cartoons, TV shows, whatever. It makes them almost feel kind of pointless. Like when you watch Uncle Ben die, or when you watch like Gwen die or Captain Stacy, you're just gonna be like, that was supposed to happen, and that just kind of sucks. Like I'm like, what? It's just it was like too meta of a story beat,
yeah,
to just throw out there. Like it was good for like a casual audience to get, but if you've like the audiences that have like seen some cartoons or even read at least a comic book, I feel like it feels like a slap in the face.
But I feel like, whoa, my headphones are going crazy. I feel like I feel like it's a good point though. I feel like think about your life, Micah. What were your canon events?
Yeah, and it made me go back and I had like an existential crisis. I like that night when I took a shower.
You're sitting there banging
sat
your head on the wall.
I sat in the shower and I was just like, whoa. Like I like rethought everything. I was like, what were my canon events? Like what were my big moments? So yeah, no, it did make me rethink a lot.
I mean, I feel like it's part of life.
True.
I don't know. I thought, but I didn't think anything about it really.
Yeah, but it made me
like, hey, this is the thing I've seen on TikTok.
Yeah, right.
But I think because it blew up on there, I think the majority of people, it resonated with them. Like, oh shoot, there were canon events that I had to go through, or I wouldn't be the same person I am today. And if there's a parallel universe that I'm in, I wonder if that person had to go through it to be the same person.
Yeah. Dang. I mean, that's what I was thinking that in the shower. I was like, my mind was blown.
I kind of liked it.
I mean, I see the appeal of it, but it
was like, presented weirdly.
Yeah,
I guess.
When I thought like when they showed a clip of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, they showed that clip of his Uncle Ben dying. I was like, bro, does he know about this? Like, what if he was told after Gwen died, hey, bro, it's supposed to happen. Like, we knew you were gonna lose. She was gonna die, and you had to let it happen.
I'm gonna do my own thing.
Which by the next movie, Miles is gonna figure out
how to break the canon events. Anyways.
But what is also dumb to me is we have a room of Peter Parkers, of 1 million of them, and Peter Parker is supposed to be basically a genius, like Iron Man level genius.
Right.
How could they not figure out how to fix canon events? But Miles Morales is going to figure it out, even though Well, he's pretty smart actually. So, but still,
But he's
he's
still at the bottom tier because he's
right,
like 15.
right. But there's a million Peter
That's a
Parkers
good
that
point.
can't figure it out. I'm like, that's silly. That's kind of lazy writing.
That is kind of silly
Mm-hmm.
because Miguel's like, "Hey, this is how it's got to be," and
Mm-hmm.
all of these people were like, "Okay."
Yeah, they just immediately obey. Like, are you kidding? No one would try to fix it. Like, no one would try to save their Uncle Ben or save their Gwen or Captain Stacy or whoever it is. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
It was sad when they're sitting like upside down on the bell tower,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Yeah, it didn't go well in the other universes with me and
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man." I was like,
Oh yeah.
"Dang."
And it shows that their hands like getting close, and then he's like, and gets really far away.
But it
So that's pretty
also
cool.
speaks to the point too of how much Spider-Man content we've seen over the years, and we know what's coming.
Yeah, true. You
Because
can't
even when you're a kid and we were watching the second Amazing Spider-Man, we all knew she was gonna die because that's how it happened in all the comics.
right. Yeah, that's how it's always been. Gwen's
So
always died.
There is a point. Maybe it's satirical of the franchise as a whole that every time a new Spider-Man comes out, you know Uncle Ben ain't gonna be there.
Right. Which I think that's the kind of the point they were saying. But it almost like then it even like narrows your area of telling stories, because now I'm like, then no matter what, every time we see Gwen Stacy from now on, she's gonna die. Or even if we see Uncle Ben, like they could tell a cool story.
But
Like, what if Uncle Ben doesn't die?
Yeah, do you think that you would be the fan that goes into a Spider-Man movie and it's completely different and Gwen Stacy doesn't die and Uncle Ben doesn't die? Do you think you're the same person that'd be upset about that at the end?
Honestly, that's a good point. Maybe. Well, so
You'd be like, bro, he was supposed to die.
like, are you kidding me? Well, think of it this way: like in Spider-Man: No Way Home, great movie.
Okay.
Aunt May died and was the catalyst for him becoming a better
And
Spider-Man.
that's creative.
Yeah. So like I wasn't mad about that. I was like, okay, that makes sense. But like, it'd be crazy if they did a movie where Peter and MJ are together, but then MJ dies, and then Gwen has to swoop in. Like, that'd be really cool. Yeah. That'd be a cool story.
I thought it was cool in the Amazing Spider-Man how there was this whole backstory with his parents that we never got to see finish out, because that never happened in the comics. Like, his parents were really nobody.
Yeah, they were nobody.
It's just part of the story. Like, oh yeah, his parents died.
Right. But now, yeah,
I thought it was
Spider-Man
cool
was pretty cool
in those movies that they were exploring it. So yeah, I thought that was neat that I would be curious to see what happens in the future, but I felt like they were almost like just making it a point of, hey, when you turn these movies on, you already know it's going to happen.
Right.
But then some of the diehards get frustrated about that. Like, even in the Robert Pattinson Batman, some people were like, oh, he's not Bruce Wayne. He's not living it up. He's not partying.
Right.
And they were mad about that.
Myself included. I was pretty mad about that. Well, I was like, they better at least build to that. Like, you can't have a Bruce Wayne if he's like a loner. Like, there's never been a Bruce Wayne like that, and that removes some of the like appeal of his character. Like, it's cool that he's like two completely different people. Like, that's just kind of cool. Instead of he's the same person when he takes off the suit. Like, that's boring.
Yeah, I think they eventually will.
Yeah. But I mean, it was really cool, all the references. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. That was sprinkled throughout the whole movie.
And it wasn't too it wasn't too fan servicey. It was actually done with I thought it was done well.
Yeah, I think so too. It wasn't like
Have you seen the
Oh, go ahead.
Have you seen the new Flash?
Not yet.
I haven't either. It looks like there's a lot of fan service in there.
Oh yeah, but it also looks like it has like PS1 graphics. That's why I'm like, I'll wait till this one comes on DVD or Redbox or something. I can't sit in a movie theater, pay $20 to watch crap on my screen.
Yeah, that looked rough.
And TikTok is already telling me everything I need to know about the movie, so I'm just like, whatever.
Speaking of looks, though, I think that two high points of this movie, even if you don't like Spider-Man or you don't know anything about it, the way that it looked was beautiful. Probably the closest I've gotten to read a comic book is just watching this movie. It's true.
It's so cool. I love the way like the backgrounds are like fading in and out. The characters like sometimes they'll show up and they're wearing the same thing, but the color scheme's completely different.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I thought it was cool. And then the soundtrack. I'll be honest. The only beef that I really had with the last movie was I was like, this is all licensed music, because the Post Malone stuff, it wasn't even just for the Spider-Man movie. It came out just for him, and then they ended up using it in the Spider-Man stuff. But then having Metro Boomin make the album specifically for the movie, and then they did bring in, you know, its own soundtrack, bro.
That was awesome.
That was the whole sound, like the whole audio presentation was such a good vibe.
Oh yeah. No, I still got like I listen to the soundtrack at least once a day, at least a song from it. Like it's still on my playlist. I still listen to it. It's just that good.
And then but the movie complemented it really well. Like the Hummingbird song is good, but I don't like it as much as when he's laying down and like everything starts floating and stuff.
Oh
like,
yeah,
bro.
It's like so good. Or like what's that song, Mona Lisa, when they're both swinging? I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah,
that is so cool. It was so cool.
They nailed the music.
Oh yeah. And yeah, like you said, like the art like and presentation of it was so awesome. And like especially Spider-Punk, I thought his presentation was just so cool.
He was really cool. How he's like black and white, and then he's not. Yeah,
right. And like he says, he doesn't believe in consistency. So like he has like different like shades of color like popping in and out of his animation. I'm like, that is just so cool. That's hilarious.
Character was funny.
Yeah.
Although it's propaganda, mate.
I don't know if like your theater had this problem. Mine did, where when I saw it in IMAX, I could barely hear anybody. And especially Spider-Punk. I did not get a single line of what he said.
No, I don't think we ran into that.
Oh, it was really weird. And I even saw the director
cool in IMAX.
Yeah, it was really cool, but like half the dialogue I could not hear. So I had to go see it a second time. But the director apparently came out and like tweeted, and he said like, go tell the theater employees to turn the volume to this certain level. And he said, like, we gave the theater specific instructions that the volume needs to be at, like, this level, and go tell them to turn it that way. So I should have done that, but I didn't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Theaters aren't listening, I guess.
Well, I'm sad that you missed out on his lines, because he was really funny.
I know. Like, I saw the TikToks of it, and I was like, oh, that's what he was saying. Because I could not hear. It sounded like gibberish to me.
And they're like, it was funnier than your average Marvel movie too.
Oh yeah,
I'd say that.
Oh yeah,
I probably got more giggles out of it where she's like talking about. She's like, oh yeah, I hope he lets me crash at his universe.
Yeah. And
then the Indian guy, and he's like, oh, she left her toothbrush there, and Mom's like, what?
He's like,
and then the whole thing was so funny, like where her dad. You know, he breaks the canon event the first time, and the dad's life gets saved.
Yeah.
And he's like, thank you. And then the Indian girl's like, this is the most emotion he's ever shown.
And he's like, hands behind his back, just one arm out. Like, he's like not even saying anything.
I thought that was great. Like,
yeah, that was good.
Like, it's not like I'm going to bust out laughing, but I'm here for all of that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The one character that, like, really disappointed me, as in, like, I wish he was in it more, was Peter B. Parker. Like, he showed up for, like, probably 10 minutes of screen. Well, not 10 minutes, but he said, like, 10 minutes worth of dialogue. And then that was it. And that kind of sucked because he was the funniest part of the last movie to me.
Yeah, it was really a Miles and Gwen focused on the movie.
Right. Which they were great. Like, Miles and Gwen were great. But I was really excited to see more of, like, you know, Peter now having a kid because of Miles. Because Miles like influenced him that way. I wanted to see more of that dynamic, which maybe they'll do that.
And
in the
they
next
still
movie.
did him dirty.
Miles, yeah.
I mean,
they still tried to kill him.
His girl,
right?
Exactly.
Well, especially Gwen. I that caught me so off guard. I thought Gwen was going to swap sides because Peter kind of did. Like he was like, "Hey, let's talk this out for a minute," and then Miles was like, "Nah," and then ran away. But like Gwen was just straight up trying to stop him at every turn. She didn't even hear him out.
Yeah. He's so OP too with the invisibility and all of that stuff.
Oh yeah. He's like overpowered. Like he's more powerful than most of the other Spider-Men that are in that building.
I did see all this stuff like right after it came out about like, oh, is Gwen Stacy transgender and all this, and I was like, I didn't know how excited I was for it, but they didn't. No, it was really good.
Yeah, it didn't seem like they're pushing it that way.
Shove anything down my throat. Yeah,
right. Like Marvel and Disney. Well, yeah, no, Marvel and Disney have been really hammering that stuff like down people's throats. So it just people get tired of it. No matter if you like it or you don't like it, you just get tired of hearing it all the time. So I'm glad they didn't push this movie. Like they knew their audience and they knew what they needed to do. So they did a good job.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what's your? I haven't put the article up on the site yet. I'll probably do that maybe right after this ends up going on Spotify. I've been doing letter grades.
Okay.
I'm thinking A- to A. That's kind of where my head's been. Because I'm thinking that translates to like a high 8, a low 9. Yeah. And that's where I would put it. So what's your thoughts? If you're doing a letter grade, what are you doing?
So, this is tough. Like I feel like the time flew by. Like I loved the theater experience. I loved
really well paced. That 2 hours felt quick.
I know, like
it
that.
Starts slow, but then once you get going, I had no idea what time it was.
Oh yeah, it flew by. So that was like that alone deserves high praise. So that alone bumps my letter grade up. But like honestly, the first movie is an A+ to me. Into the Spider-Verse, I love it. Like that's one of my favorite Spider-Man movies, second only to Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire. Second only to that, which is high praise. I honestly would say like B+.
Okay.
B+.
I mean, that's where my head's at.
Yeah.
I'm in the A- range.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great. Like very little complaints. And then like Ben Reilly, I didn't like that either. But that's like most people, like the guy that had the like blue sweatshirt, like the red Spider-Man suit. You remember him? That had like the muscles and like he was like talking about him. Well, his whole character in the comics is actually pretty cool. And he's basically Spider-Man Batman. But in this movie, they just like crapped on him so much. I felt so bad. I was like, I bet all the people that actually love this character feel terrible. So for the reason that they changed so many characters,
like 9 people.
Yeah, probably. Because I don't really care anything about Ben Reilly, but I was like, dang, for the people that do, they really did crap on him. So like for what they did with like some of the characters like Miguel and a little bit of Ben Reilly, a little bit of Peter B. Parker, and then canon events, that's why it has to be B+.
That bumped you down? Okay.
That bumped me down, yeah.
Well, yeah. I was into it.
Yeah.
I like good. I said, I had no expectations. I left floored.
Well, that's good. I'm sure a ton of people did. It sounds like the movie's like, I don't know, the best movie of all time or something.
Did you think the twist? Did you see the twist coming with him going to the wrong universe? So did you see that coming in real time or what?
So yeah, this was crazy. So my friend sitting next to me, like obviously it was happening. He goes to university, enters his room, and I wasn't catching it. Like I didn't catch that he went to the wrong universe. But my friend nudges me when his mom walks in. He says, "I'm Spider-Man." My friend nudges me and he goes, his mom's eyes are a different color.
Whoa.
Which I don't know how he picked up on that. I didn't pick up on that, and that immediately like clued me in.
Does he have like Asperger's or something, bro? Is he good?
I mean, I was like, how did you see this? Like, I feel like you watched a TikTok on it or something. But and then he like little things like, oh, his jacket is completely different than what he had in the start, and then his room looked completely different. So I started to pick up on those things, but it was a slow build up. Like they did really good with slowly building that tension up.
And then he shows up as the Prowler.
Oh man, cool. That was really cool. But I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I legitimately, after watching this movie, this is what's really cool. I legitimately have no idea what's gonna happen in the next movie.
Yeah.
Like Infinity War, I was like, well, they're gonna, beat Thanos probably.
You'll probably get more of the Peter Parker screen time in the next one, is what I would think. Because if Miles is going to be trapped with Prowler Miles, then I bet a good chunk of that time will be the crew trying to get to his universe. So.
Right. And I want to see, like, my expectations for the next movie are, this is crazy, but live action Miles Morales. That would be insane. Like, that would blow my mind. And I bet they could do it.
Cameo?
Yeah, like maybe Miles like jumps into the real world or something. Or like jumps into like Tom Holland's Spider-Man universe. And somehow he like looks live action. I don't know.
Okay, this is moving away from it, but still talking Spider-Man. Do you think that, so how the last one, what was the last one? No Way Home?
Oh yeah, No Way Home.
How that one ends, it ends to me like, okay, the Disney contract is over with Sony, but it freed Sony up to make their own Spider-Man movie with no strings attached to Disney. Do you think that they end up making another one and then we potentially see Miles in that universe?
That's a good question. I think they'll definitely make more with Tom Holland as Peter, just because I think Tom Holland himself has even like said like he's down to work on it and stuff like that. I don't see them like tossing Tom Holland out, especially since he got like a super dope suit. He's now like on his own. Like he now feels more like Spider-Man than he ever did. Yeah. You know, like classic Spider-Man, like he's a loner. He has to like work and do things normal people go through instead of being like handed money from Tony Stark. So I'm thinking since it's on the right trajectory and everyone's on board, I don't think Sony would toss it. But I think it'd be a really good twist if they had Peter like mentor Miles like he does in the PlayStation games. That'd be awesome.
Who's the best Spider-Man?
Asking the difficult questions. I think
I already know my answer.
I think I know your answer too. I'm going to say best movies and character arcs and best Peter Parker goes to Tobey Maguire. But best Spider-Man, not Peter Parker. Terrible Peter Parker. Great Spider-Man. Like amazing Spider-Man. You see what I did there? Andrew Garfield. Easily.
That was good. That was clever.
Right.
Yeah, I'd go PS4 Spider-Man for everything.
Okay, yeah. PS4 Spider-Man. He's my favorite, actually, now I think about it. I just wish they didn't change his face. I wish they didn't change his face.
He's got a suit on.
No, but his face looks like a baby now. And I'm like, it looks terrible. I'm just nitpicking, I guess, but still. Yeah, PS4 Spider-Man, I think, takes it.
Well, I'm going to go A-. You're going to go B+. I could end up changing my mind by the time I write the actual piece on the blog.
Yeah.
Anything else? Have you watched the new, like you mentioned something about Disney shoving stuff down our throats in their content. I haven't seen anything from them in a while. I've been off the whole train. Have you watched like the new Secret Invasion or anything like that?
I haven't yet. I've heard really good things about it though. So
really,
but it makes me nervous to jump back in because like Guardians of the Galaxy, I saw that, but I loved Guardians of the Galaxy. I had like no doubt that was going to be an amazing movie. But Disney has not been impressing me with anything else they've done recently. So I'm kind of nervous to jump back in. Maybe eventually.
Did you have problems with my B- that I gave Volume 3?
Kinda. I would have said A-.
Oh, that's a whole letter jump.
Yeah, I think I would have said A-. I see where you're coming from. I think you were talking about it, like how Rocket wasn't in it too much.
Rocket's
as in
just
like
my favorite.
Yeah, as in Rocket, like
as I know
in the now.
Him.
Yeah.
I saw this thing where I saw a theory that James Gunn, so you know how Disney like offloaded him for a little bit?
Yeah.
Like I think he said something and people tried to cancel him on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then he came back because they needed him to make Volume 3.
Right.
Did you see the thing that was like he made this movie because he put himself in Rocket's shoes? Like
Whoa, no, I didn't see that.
Disney, gave him a big break with Guardians, and then they got rid of him because of some stupid stuff. And then, so like Disney's the High Evolutionary and James Gunn is Rocket. And then they couldn't figure out the formula, so they had to bring him back in.
Dang. That would be like super meta. Like that'd be insane if that's true. But I guess no one's gonna confirm it. Like James Gunn probably won't.
Will ever know.
Right. But what it did make me feel good about is with Guardians being so good. Well, I mean, I don't know. Did you think it was good? You at least thought it was a good movie, right?
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay, good. Well, with that being good, it gives me hope because he's directing the next Superman movie. So I feel pretty good about that.
I didn't know there was a next Superman movie.
He's actually taking over all of DC.
I did know that. Who's Superman?
They haven't announced it yet. Not Henry Cavill. So that sucks, but oh well.
I thought he was leaving The Witcher to do it.
He was. So they said he's back. He even showed up in Black Adam for a second and just said, like, I'm Superman, and then left. He said he's back, and then he went on Instagram, said he's back, and then DC official was like, Henry Cavill's back, and then he said he's leaving Witcher to be Superman. But then a month after that, when James Gunn took over, Henry Cavill was like, oh, sadly, they said I'm not actually going to be Superman. Yeah, they really did him dirty.
That's rough.
Yeah, poor guy. I love Henry Cavill.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really into DC. I really like the Snyder Cut. That's probably the last thing I watched.
Yeah, Snyder Cut's good. I like that too.
Okay. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah, I've liked it.
I appreciate you coming on.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
You might just be the designated all-person movies, and we're into the same games and stuff like that. So
true.
Dude, I'll keep you in the loop.
Awesome.
Coming on. Catch you coming in on what do we have coming up? Dude, I'm hyped for Starfield.
Yes. We'll have to do a review of that or something.
Oh, bro.
Oh, I'm already ready.
I'm just going to get my setup to where I get a crap ton of gameplay recorded and just cut it into shorts and reels and stuff like that on there.
Yes, do it.
I think the craziest stuff is going to happen just like while I'm exploring and stuff like that.
Right.
And then I'm interested to see about the new Star Wars game. The Outlaws or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not as hyped for it because it comes out like a couple months after Starfield does.
Right. And Spider-Man 2, right? Doesn't that come out? Yeah, around the same time as Spider-Man 2. So, yikes.
So I'll keep you in the loop.
Do it. I'm down.
Catch Micah Cothran coming on Lukewarm Takes as a regular.
I would love it.
All right.
It'd be an honor.
This is fun.
Yeah, it was. Thanks for having me.
Yep. It's been a week.
I bet it has.
We're gonna record this episode like Friday, and I'm a bad employee, and so for anybody that doesn't know, I work at a church as a student pastor and a children's pastor. Anyways, our church has never done a VBS or anything like that, and it's my first year working there. And so we get on in January, me and the new students person. And so Friday, let me backtrack and then backtrack some more. So Saturday's our big kids fun day. We're going to do a VBS day. We're just going to do an 8 to 12 super fun kids day, right?
Yeah.
We've got some interns that are high school students who planned it and set everything up, and they meet on Tuesdays. So they planned it. It's carnival themed. They get there on a Tuesday. They set everything up. We get there on Wednesday. We set everything up more. So in my head, like, everything's good. And you know me. Here's another thing. I get these mouth ulcers all the time, right?
Yeah.
All the time. And so I've had them for like weeks right now. Like, I'm just on a bad luck strand, I guess. And so I was reading, and one of the things that said, what I need to do is I can't be stressed. So this week we've got our big day on Saturday, but I'm choosing not to be stressed. So I'm getting up every morning, maybe a little later. I usually go straight to the gym. I'm meditating, some Zen, some music, some prayer, some reading in the mornings. I'm getting my day started a little later. And I guess, when you work somewhere, like sometimes that sort of thing can be looked down upon because I guess you could spend your time elsewhere. And so Friday was the day we were going to record like super late. I didn't get home till like 11 p.m. that night. And so I wake up that day. Emily wakes up at 10 every day. That's just her thing. And so we go to a little breakfast, little biscuits, little mimosas at like 10:30 a.m., And then I'm like, she wants to go to Lululemon. I'm like, yeah, let's go to Lululemon. I'm like, I got to stop at Office Depot because I've ordered some flyers and some badges for the Kids Day. Well, the night before, I called a 256 number, the Office Depot on University. And I get there, they don't have my stuff. And I'm like, hey, it's fine. What happened? And she's like, it's you placed the order in Ohio. And I'm like, I know I didn't, because look, I called this. This is the store's number. Why would the Ohio have a 256 number? They're like, look, your poster's in Ohio, kid. Come back later. We'll have it sorted out. I'm like, okay. So I'm already in Huntsville, which is 30 minutes from where I live. We Lulu it out, take her back. I'm like, all right, like I go home, work out, take a nap. I'm about to go back. I'm just gonna run up there and see what else needs to be done. Because granted, I was there 2 days ago and everything was done.
Yeah.
So I thought. So I get there Friday night. I go back by Office Depot. I get everything. I come in. I come in bearing gifts, right? The things that I brought. Bro, nobody's happy to see me. And that was, nobody said that, but that's the vibe that I'm getting.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting some glances, I'm getting some side eyes, and I'm getting some comments like, oh, well, we just been up here slaving all day. It's like, what do you mean? Like, what happened? And I didn't know they were up there all day. All right, I just didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. If they would have told me, I would have skipped breakfast. I would have been up there. I didn't know.
Yeah.
But then I also goofed up, and I was giving them reasons to be upset. So then they're like, did you get the posters and stuff? I'm like, bang, here it is. They're like, did you get this, 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 and this? I'm like, oh, I forgot. I'm like, no worries, I'll go get it. And then, so it's carnival themed, and there's these 12 bowls sitting on the windowsill, and they're like, did you get the fish? I'm like, what? The fish? Did you get the fish? I'm like, whoa, I didn't know what we're. And he's like, well, obviously we're gonna put goldfish in the bowls, right? I'm like, yeah, oh yeah, for sure. So I go back to Athens. I go to the Athens campus. I get some of the stuff I forgot. Some of the stuff, because I ended up forgetting more stuff, and I had to go back again. So then, if you're familiar with Athens, there's a pet store right there on Lindsay Lane and 72 at Publix. I go into the pet store, and I'm like, I need 12 fish that look roughly the same. And Kira. Oh, and here's the other thing. Have you ever been in a pet store?
That one, yes, I have.
What's the vibes in there like?
Fluorescent lights, dog food, not a good time.
Right. Have you ever seen it look like Black Friday in there? Or is it usually just chill?
Most days, it's pretty chill. I mean, not many people at the PetSmart.
Bro, there's people everywhere in here. On Friday night at like 8 p.m. I'm like, what is going on? So I'm like, I tell her I need the fish. She's like, well, I don't work in fish. I've never worked in fish before. And I looked at her. I said, Kira, I just need you to scoop these fish out. She's like, all right, I got you. I said, I'll do it if you want. Like, I don't care. And she's like, no, I can do it. I'm like, this is going to be so fun to watch you scoop the fish out, like a little game. You're going to have to track them down. She's like, yeah, baby fun for you. I don't work in fish. She kept saying that. I've never worked in fish before. So I thought the first thing I thought was odd was she fed all 12 fish in one bag.
What
And
was
she
her name?
barely
What was her
could.
name?
Kira could
Kira.
barely reach the top of the tank. Okay,
Kira, I
and
don't work in fish either.
I was
I
like,
don't know about none of that, man.
but the other thing was, I wouldn't have thought anything about it if I didn't see somebody else getting a lot of fish and saw them go into like 6 different bags.
Yeah.
So she put all the fish in one bag. They look miserable. She's like, I know this is the calming oil. So she put some, I guess, like CBD in there or something to mellow the fish out. And I did think about this. Not something I'd usually think about. It's like, I'm going to need to scoop these fish out. So I went ahead and bought a net, right? Like a little net, being responsible to scoop them into those 12 little bowls on the windowsill.
Yeah.
So I get back to the church and I hold up my prized possession, my 12 boys that's rode with me from Athens. I've already been on the road like 30